5 years. That's it. 5 years of waiting. 5 years of, I'll start next year. 5 years of watching other people's retirement accounts grow while yours sits at zero. And by the time you finally start, the math has already changed. Not a little. Dramatically. Today I'm going to show you exactly what 5 years of delay costs you in real numbers, and then, because I'm not here to just make you feel bad about your bank account, I'm going to show you exactly how to close that gap. If you're watching this because you're in your late 20s, your 30s, or even your 40s and you haven't started saving for retirement yet, I want you to know something before we go any further. You are not alone, and you are not doomed. Millions of people start late. Life happens, student debt, job loss, kids, medical bills, just trying to survive. But there's a difference between it's hard and it's impossible. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand. Here's what we're covering. First, the actual dollar cost of waiting 5 years using real compound growth math, not vague warnings. Second, why those 5 years matter so much more than people think. It's not just about missed contributions. Third, and this is the important part, the specific strategies people use to close a 5-year gap, sometimes even completely. Stick around to the end because the last strategy is the one most financial advice completely ignored. The math behind the delay. Let's start with a simple example. 2 people, both aiming to retire at 65. Person A starts investing $300 a month at age 25. Person B starts investing that same $300 a month at age 30, just 5 years later. Assuming an average annual return of 7%, which is a reasonable long-term estimate for a diversified stock portfolio, here's what happens by age 65. Person A, who started at 25, ends up with roughly $713,000. Person B, who started at 30, ends up with roughly $487,000. That 5-year gap costs person B about $226,000. Let that sink in. They only missed 5 years of contributions. That's just $18,000 out of pocket they didn't put in. But the actual cost was $226,000. Why is the gap so much bigger than the money they skipped? Because of compound growth. Those first 5 years aren't just 5 years of contributions, they're 5 extra years for that money to double and triple and quadruple. Money invested early doesn't just grow, it grows on its own growth. Financial people call this exponential growth, but you don't need the vocabulary to feel it. Early money works harder, longer, and it never clocks out. Here's another way to see it. If person A stopped contributing completely at age 35, just 10 years of saving, then nothing, they would still end up with more money at 65 than person B, who saved from 30 all the way to 65. 10 years of early saving beats 35 years of late saving. That's not motivation speak, that's math. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, okay, that's terrifying, but I already missed those 5 years, so what now? Good, because that's exactly where we're going next. Why 5 years hits harder than you think. Before we get to solutions, I want to explain why this delay is sneakier than most people realize, because understanding the why changes how you fix it. First, the delay doesn't just cost you 5 years of missed growth. It costs you 5 years of missed compounding on your future contributions too. Every dollar you invest at 35 instead of 30 isn't just late by 5 years. It's also earning returns on a smaller overall base for the rest of your working life, because the account never catches up to where it would have been. Second, most people don't just delay by exactly 5 years and then invest perfectly afterward. In real life, delay often triggers more delay. You put it off at 25, then 30 feels overwhelming because you're already behind, so you put it off again. This is what financial psychologists call the discouragement spiral. The gap starts to feel so large that starting at all feels pointless. I want to be very clear. That feeling is lying to you. The math we just walked through assumes you start today and stay consistent. It does not assume you catch every year perfectly. Third, and this is the one nobody talks about, inflation and lifestyle creep quietly punish latecomers twice. The longer you wait, the more your income tends to rise, but your expenses usually rise right alongside it. Which means the extra money you'll supposedly use to catch up later often gets absorbed into a bigger house, a nicer car, a more expensive lifestyle before it ever reaches an investment account. So here's the real question this video is built around. If 5 years of delay creates a 6-figure gap, and delay tends to compound emotionally as well as mathematically, how do you actually break that cycle? That's what the rest of this video is about. For specific, practical strategies that people who started late have used to close the gap, and in some cases erase it entirely. Strategy 1. Increase your contribution rate, not just your savings. The most obvious fix, save more, is true, but most people apply it wrong. They think, I'll just save a little extra when I can. That doesn't work, because when I can rarely arrives on its own. Instead, the people who successfully close a 5-year gap use something called catch-up contribution math. Going back to our example, instead of person B contributing $300 a month starting at 30, what if they contributed $420 a month instead, about 40% more? Run that forward to 65 at the same 7% return, and person B ends up close to $682,000. That's within striking distance of person A's $713,000, almost entirely closed, just by increasing the monthly contribution by $120. The lesson here isn't save $120 more a month, specifically. It's that a relatively small percentage increase in your contribution rate, sustained over decades, can outweigh years of lost time. This is genuinely one of the most underused strategies, because people fixate on the years they lost instead of the dial they can still turn. Practical tip: if you get a raise, increase your retirement contribution by half of that raise before your spending adjusts to it. You'll never miss money you never got used to having. Strategy 2. Use catch-up contribution limits if you qualify. In many countries, tax-advantaged retirement accounts allow higher contribution limits once you hit a certain age, often 50. Specifically because policymakers recognize that people start late. These are usually called catch-up contributions, and they exist for exactly the situation we're talking about in this video. If you're not yet at that age threshold, this is still worth knowing now, because it means the system is quietly designed to give latecomers a bigger lane in their 50s. Don't wait until you're 50 to learn the rules. Know them now so when that window opens, you're maximizing it immediately instead of losing another few years figuring it out. If you are already past that threshold, check your specific country's or employer's current catch-up limits, because these figures are adjusted periodically. This is one detail where I'd rather point you to check current official numbers than give you a specific figure that might be outdated by the time you watch this. Now here's a strategy that almost nobody in mainstream financial advice talks about, and it might be more powerful than the first two combined. Strategy 3. Extend your time horizon, not just your savings. Most people assume retirement age is fixed at 65. It's not a law of physics, it's a default assumption. If closing the entire gap through contributions alone feels out of reach, working and investing for even 2 or 3 additional years has an outsized effect, because those are typically your highest earning, highest contribution years, sitting right at the point where your portfolio is largest and compounding the fastest. Going back to our numbers, if person B, who started at 30, simply worked and invested until 67 instead of 65, just 2 extra years, their final total climbs to roughly $558,000, on top of whatever catch-up contributions they've already made. Combine Strategy 1 and Strategy 3 together, and the 6-figure gap from earlier essentially disappears. This isn't about working forever. It's about recognizing that retirement age is a flexible variable, not a fixed deadline, and even small adjustments to it have a disproportionate effect precisely because they happen at the peak of your compounding curve. Strategy 4. The one most people skip: investment allocation. Here's the last piece, and it's the one that gets ignored constantly. A lot of late starters, out of fear of not having time to recover from a downturn, put their money in overly conservative options: savings accounts, low-yield bonds, cash. Feels safe. But over a 20-, 30- or 35-year horizon, being too conservative is often riskier than being appropriately invested in growth assets, because it guarantees you won't close the gap through growth at all. This isn't a suggestion to take reckless risks. It's a reminder that your specific allocation, matched to your actual time horizon and goals, has a massive effect on whether these catch-up strategies even work. A portfolio earning 4% instead of 7% because it's parked too conservatively can undo everything we just calculated. This is genuinely worth a conversation with a licensed financial advisor who can look at your full picture. I'm walking you through the general math here, not personalized advice for your exact situation. If this gave you a clearer picture of where you actually stand, hit subscribe, because next week we're breaking down exactly how much you need to save monthly at different starting ages to retire comfortably. And if you started late yourself, drop your starting age in the comments. You might be exactly the reassurance someone else watching this needs today.